Knowing how to do it effectively and how to build the process correctly, you can reach this state quite quickly. And to do that, you don't have to go to a monastery or chant mantras. It's a kind of training. When our higher self and intuition speak to us, we get that feeling. I just know. That's it. Like a sudden insight. I just know. And that's all. Hello, dear friends. Let's talk about how to develop intuition and learn to hear your higher self. First of all, let's understand what the higher self is. The higher self is the voice of our soul, the voice of our intuition that is always with us. It's one of the natural states of human consciousness. However, usually this higher self, our intuition, finds it very hard to reach us. Why? Because we're too busy dealing with everyday practical human tasks. That's why most spiritual practices and self-development techniques, sooner or later, must lead a person to a certain degree of control over the state of switching off, to the state of the higher self, or at least to an approach toward it. Knowing how to do it effectively and how to structure the process, you can reach that state quite fast. You don't have to go live in a monastery, chant mantras, or do anything extreme. You can stay in the world, live among people, go to work, raise children, handle daily matters, and still train your higher self. Stay in an expanded state of consciousness, in other words, in a state of intuition. And you need to understand one thing. Developing your higher self and your intuition is a kind of training, a practice. The more often you turn to your higher self and intuition, the better you'll start to distinguish, over time, where it's your personality's mind speaking, where it's imagination at work, and where your intuition is truly manifesting. Let's take a look. The main sign that it was intuition, not imagination or the mind of personality, is a special inner feeling. When the higher self speaks, there's a sense of I just know. There are no words, no context, no images, just a flash of insight. I know, and that's all. That's the signal. Your higher self is speaking. Your intuition is active. But if you start thinking it through, adding logic, analyzing, building mental chains and arguments, that's most likely your mind talking, offering a ready-made answer. So what do we need to overcome? And what methods can we use while developing intuition and connection with our higher self? The first thing to learn is to create space for silence and solitude. Especially at the beginning, while you're just starting to train, you must create the right conditions for your higher self to manifest. When we're around someone, when we're surrounded by people, when we're preoccupied, when there's no feeling of peace inside, our personal mind keeps talking, and amid that noise, intuition simply can't be heard. It's like background hum that drowns out the voice of the higher self. That's why one of the key points you should develop in yourself for mastering intuition and the higher self is learning to achieve that inner silence. The personal mind must calm down. The simplest way is to spend some time alone. Learn to be alone. Arrange your schedule so that you have moments of solitude and quiet. When you stay alone for a while, after your internal stream of thoughts and decisions fades out, silence gradually comes. That's why it's helpful to go somewhere alone from time to time, to be alone. For the first couple of days, there will still be that inner chatter, but then it gets quieter and quieter, and that's when you can hear how your intuition or your higher self really speaks. Once again, an important point. Regular use of your higher self, trusting your higher self. Even if at first you make mistakes, confusing intuition with imagination, guesses or thoughts from the personality's mind, it's okay. The more you believe, the more you trust, the less you let the rational mind make every decision instead of your intuition, the stronger that connection becomes. Intuition should become a real argument in your everyday decision-making. It's a tool you start using consciously. Allow it to exist, because your inner voice, the mind, will resist. That's not true. You can't trust this. Believe me, I have logic, I have common sense. It will argue. Okay. Then put them both on the scales of your reality. Here's intuition, and here's the rational mind. Step by step, your mind will begin to trust your intuition. That's the only way to teach your mind that intuition and the higher self truly exist. Next, you must keep your body clean. Pay attention. The purer your body, the purer your physical and etheric body, the purer your inner energies and emotions, the easier it is for information to pass between your higher self and your brain. In other words, the cleaner you are, the better your intuition works. That's why all spiritual traditions include fasting, purification, abstinence, and other forms of inner cleansing. It's not a whim or a coincidence, it's truly necessary. The purer your channels through which information passes, the faster and more accurately it reaches you, then you begin to make the right decisions because information flows directly. So the second important point is purification. Watch your inner and outer cleanliness. It's really difficult to develop the higher self within, let's say, a dirty body. Yes, it's possible, but there will be a lot of distortions, mistakes, and perhaps disappointments later. It's like in sports. To get stable results in sports, you have to prepare the body. It's the same here. Developing the higher self and using intuition is also a kind of training. Come to our academy, we'll teach you how to use the state of superconsciousness, intuition, and your higher self. Our methods are refined to perfect athletic results. We don't just explain, we train you. Next, remember the higher self speaks to you through insights, through sudden knowing, through that inner sense of I just know, without logic or reasoning. You can practice like this. Ask a question that matters to you. Keep living your normal life, but inwardly allow your intuition to emerge and give the answer. Then, during the day, a sudden realization strikes you. You just know the answer. Write it down right away. Sometimes the answer comes at night, but usually within 24 hours. Just leave the question hanging. Address your higher self inside. Okay, my rational mind, I trust you, but now I want to look at this situation from the point of view of my eternal soul, from the voice of intuition. I want to understand how it truly is. And the more you can step back, the more you can expand beyond the situation itself. The fewer emotions, worries, and anxieties you have about it, the easier it becomes for your intuition, for your higher self to reach you. And then, within a day, you'll definitely receive an answer to your question: what you need to do. Notice that your intuition may speak to you in its own language, one that only you understand. For example, it might express itself through physical sensations. Maybe you feel yes as warmth and no as coolness or cold. You may receive information through your physical body, through sensations. For example, a feeling of discomfort when you shouldn't do something, or on the contrary, a surge of energy and inspiration when you should. The mechanisms by which the higher self and intuition transmit information differ for everyone. Or some people might easily develop clairvoyance. They begin to see an altered reality, to sense themselves inside a certain space, literally feeling the density, volume, or lightness of matter. Some people feel, others hear, and some even smell. Sometimes the higher self sends information to our brain in the most unexpected ways. Let's recall Edgar Cayce. He used to fall asleep to receive information from his higher self. In his full consciousness and memory, he couldn't access it. He needed the state of sleep. Find out which form of information transfer works best for your current body, your energy structure, your personal mind. Through which channels can you receive signals from your higher self? And remember, in any critical situation, your higher self is always with you. It constantly tries to give you as much information as possible, to help, to save, to guide, to lead you out of situations that seem impossible. It's always near, ready to protect you and whisper the right solution. So whenever you feel doubt, confusion, uncertainty, or despair, stop. Calm your emotions and turn inward. Inside you, there's always a spark of God, your higher self. Ask it, what decision would be best for me? And again, allow the answer to come naturally. If you want your higher self to speak to you not by chance, but exactly when you need it, if you want to receive answers from intuition at the right moment and be sure it's truly the voice of your higher self, then you should start practicing superconscious states in our academy. Go through training like in a sports school and learn to manage these processes consciously. Welcome to the Omline Academy. There's another powerful way. You can build a strong connection with your emotional or astral body. Very often it's your emotional body that delivers intuitive information through resonance, empathy, emotional exchange, and shared sensations. It's like when you suddenly begin to feel what's happening to a loved one, even if they're far away. One of the key features of awakening intuition is that it's most often connected to the astral body, the body of feelings. Most people receive intuitive information from the astral plane, the emotional level. They read feelings, thoughts, and states of other people as if letting them in through themselves. When you're attuned to someone, you literally sense through yourself what the other person is experiencing at that moment. That's why, for many, the development of intuition begins through the astral body. And it's not always purely positive because perception through emotions and the astral level can be somewhat limited. You see reality through the lens of emotions, through the quantum layer of feelings. However, our higher self is capable of much more. It can allow us to perceive reality not only on the astral level, but also on the mental plane, the Buddhic plane, and beyond. In other words, our higher self isn't limited to the astral realm, my dear ones. So conscious dreaming isn't the final frontier. As part of training at the Omline Academy, we always teach how to work with the astral body. We cleanse it from blocks and negative energies, helping you literally rebuild yourself from within, to shape the physical body of your dreams, to restructure your emotions, and thereby to create the chain of life events that you truly desire. Again, gaining control over the emotional and astral body helps you better perceive the signals from your higher self. That's what strengthens your intuition and reduces the number of possible mistakes. Next point, start keeping an intuition journal, a journal of insights, a journal of expanded consciousness. When you begin to train your intuition, new thoughts, bright ideas, and sudden realizations will start coming to you all the time. What is that? That's your higher self becoming your teacher. It starts whispering ideas, showing new perspectives, new ways to see familiar things. Yes, of course, your notes may include a mix of things, your rational mind, your personal experience, and something you've read in books, but the very act of writing these ideas down is important. Later, when you reread your journal, you'll see your entire path, the path of awakening, of expanding consciousness, step by step until you achieve full control over your higher self. Most likely, those insights you will record come from a state of expanded consciousness, a state of intuition, a state of abstract perception of reality. And later, when you reread them with your ordinary rational mind, those states, thoughts, and ideas you once described in your journal can actually become a good foundation, real guidance for making decisions in your everyday life. So absolutely start your journal of insights. Don't show it to anyone. Write only for yourself. All the intuitive revelations you receive from your higher self. Don't forget to use your intuition. Train it. Trust it. So, my dear friends, always practice connecting with your higher self. Always open your intuition. Learn to look at yourself and your life from the position of the higher self, from the perspective of the eternal soul that lives forever and is part of the one divine essence. Living from the higher self gives you clarity. It helps you see the unseen, know the unknown, hear the unheard. It allows you to perceive the true causes of events and make decisions rooted in knowledge, love, and wisdom. So come to Omline Academy to activate your higher self and master your intuition. Sign up for a free consultation with our Academy trainers, and may the power of your higher self be with you.